How long we have to do this?
I don't know. You okay, buddy?
You okay, man? You all right?
You'll be all right. You got a Oh, you okay? You got a rumbly tummy.
Yeah, he's
got air. That's what it is.
You look deflated.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh! You monster!
Look at that. Just grab him by the face.
Look at him. Oh,
Hi, everybody.
dear. Howdy. We are on.
This is Tom Fassel.
Yes. All right, folks. So we're doing a back talk today. Thanks to Sam bringing it up in the People's Choice Top 100, wasn't
Wow. Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
it? Well,
So if this completely goes off the rails,
It's my
Sam's
fault.
fault, is what you're saying.
That's
Okay.
basically what he's saying.
Fantastico.
So essentially, though, what we wanted to talk about, well, first of all, before we do anything else, I want to point out that I don't think this is a topic that is super serious. We're just talking about it for the fun of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is not like it matters a whole lot. But it brings up an interesting point.
I really don't care that much about this.
This is just
But a lot of people
talking goofy.
a lot of people talked about it in the comments.
They picked up on it. I got it. But it's just a thought that I had while we were doing it. I didn't even premeditatively say I'm going to talk about this about online. It just kind of popped in there.
Catch me up a little bit about what the online thing was, because I clearly don't read your
Well,
comments.
there's a lot of sorry, my throat is not doing well.
That was the second thing I was going to say.
I know, yeah, my throat is not doing well, so I do have cough drops, so I'm going to be a little bit scratchy. But anyway, there were a lot of, we kept talking about apps
Okay.
on the top 100 list. Why is this still so popular? Well, there's a good app for it.
Okay.
And this game has an app, so it's really popular because it has an app over there. Or people play this game a lot online, and that's why they think, or we were thinking that it was still on the People's Choice, so top 100 or something like that.
Got it.
So as we were going through the list, talking about that, the thought just popped in there, is that okay? Is that okay to rely upon, I guess you could say, your online gaming that you're doing by yourself, and to have that weigh so heavily upon a best of list or what have you.
Okay.
So I mean, the way the description was, is that okay? Are you still playing a board game if you're not playing a board game? If you're doing some digital interface?
Right.
All right, well, before we jump into this, I want to make clear, we're not opposed to apps. We think apps are great.
No, yeah,
we think
they're
apps
very
are great
cool.
in games. We like board game apps. I don't think they're destroying the hobby. I think they're growing the hobby, if anything else. We're talking specifically about that.
Wow.
No, but I mean, again, I don't want to make this...
Well, I'm sorry.
I like apps. I use them all the time on my phone. So the question is this. Okay, so let's say I'm making my top 100 games of all time.
Okay.
And I put Ascension on the list. I didn't, but let's say I did.
Okay.
I play that almost exclusively on the app. Does it count? And if it does count, can I put Hearthstone in my list? Because that is also essentially the same thing.
I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you. This has been good. This was good. Man, it felt right. I don't know. I think ultimately it's about is the experience missing something, right? And here's what I was thinking about while we were, getting ready for this very important topic. It's not. I was thinking about the delivery of a book, right? How you consume that medium. Where it used to be, and obviously a lot of people still do this, where you buy a book, you read a physical book. Well, now you can, on an e-book, on your tablet, on whatever, you can read a book, consume a book, and you don't have a physical book. However, what you are consuming, what you are receiving is ultimately identical, unless you equate the experience of reading a book with like the smell of paper or something, which is fine, I get that. But there's nothing missing. If you play a board game in an app format, you are missing things, You're missing tactile pleasure, which again, you could argue you're missing that with a book, but I would say that's much more of a corner case. You are missing face-to-face interaction there. You are also jettisoning, is that the thing?
Sure. No.
Time investment, very likely, right? Because a board game is going to require manipulation that the app does for you. So there's that too. You are gaining things. You are,
and that's usually a plus, right?
Yeah, right.
More often than not, it's a plus because the app accounts for everything for you, moves everything around for you. You're not going to lose pieces. You're not going to. You're not spending as much time as you would with the regular thing. But so that's kind of my thing with the whole book analogy. It's really a different kind of a bear because
it is
because you're still just reading.
Yes, correct.
You're still just reading.
Yeah, when I have my iPad and I'm reading a book on it, or I'm holding a physical book, there's the only difference is material.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no other difference.
Correct. Which is why, that's why I wanted to draw that parallel. I think they are distinctly different experiences, an app board game and a physical board game. The question is not ultimately that's apparent. Does it count as you having, I think what we're asking is, if I sit down and play Ascension on the iPad, does it count as a play of Ascension, the board game?
Well, yeah. It counts as a play of the game.
I don't think I would argue that either, right? It's the same thing.
But it's a different kind of experience. It's a completely different experience.
Okay.
It still counts as a play of the game. And so, I played, whatever. This is completely arbitrary, but I played Ticket to Ride 50 times. 49 of those were on an app.
Okay.
1 was with other people.
Yes.
Does that mean then that it is my most played board game of the year?
Ooh, words, man. Words are tricky.
I'm just saying.
Oh.
And again, in one aspect, I want to say yes, right?
Right.
Because who cares?
Because it's a digital implementation of a board game.
But then what about all
Get
the digital implementations that aren't board games? There really is a lot of them, whether it's iOS, Android, on the computer. I play some games on the computer.
Angry Birds 2 is my most played game this year.
I know. I hate you so much.
Every night before I go to bed.
I hear more flicking birds and squashing pigs.
It's true though, but
we have room together at conventions, okay?
No, that was confusing.
He's looking at me like I've been evicted over here. Look
No.
I don't think, I think it's a similar experience. I don't think ultimately it's the same experience, so what?
Well, no, I was going to say, Isathel here asks,
okay.
Do you think lacking components makes games less amazing? Many games have very impressive components, which isn't true in the electronic version.
I guess I don't know what they mean by amazing. I do think that it makes it less of an experience. How about that? Like if I sit down to play, I don't know, let's pick something kind of epic. For Sale. That's not epic.
Wow. Twilight Imperium 4.
No, like a good game though.
It is a good game.
Okay, Twilight Imperium 4. If I sit down to play that, if I play the physical game, I'm going to be manipulating, I'm going to be, bids, I'm going to be involved in the story.
There's no bids in that.
There are, man. TI4 has nothing in it?
Bids?
Like, ships and stuff.
Bits.
What did I say?
I thought you said bids.
No, bits and pieces.
His hearing's going with his voice.
That'd be weird. I think playing the app, you lose the tactile, feeling obviously, but also I think actually the shrunk time, play time, does rob you a little bit of thematic involvement. Mm-hmm. Like playing Small World on the app. I've done it. It's like 10 minutes, right?
Right.
And I feel like it didn't matter when I'm done. I feel like I didn't get invested. You know what I mean? I think playing a board game, because it is longer, because it has its own sort of time dilution, if you want to think of it that way, does make you get involved in what's happening. Whether that's thematic or just mechanical, right? But it puts you there. You start to care a little more because it's a little more involving, because it's you controlling the stuff, not just click and something happens. So I do think they are ultimately different. I think playing an app doesn't count as playing the board game. I think it's like a practice run. You could think of it as a practice run for the real thing.
I was just thinking that it's a way for you to try different strategies and different tactics and stuff like that. But
I think it's not, ultimately it is not the board game. In fact, I think there are board games I won't play that I might try the app, because they are different things.
But what if the app is superior to the board game? I'm talking about things like Ascension, where you don't need decks of cards, or I'm playing Through the Ages right now on the app, and it handles all that bookkeeping and stuff. Sometimes Sentinels of the Multiverse, I hear, is better because it handles all that fiddly stuff. Sometimes the app can be better. So
I agree with you.
So if I stop playing the board game and I start playing on an app, like Through the Ages, this is very possible that I will never play the physical board game again, and I'll just play the app.
Right.
So should I take it off my top 100?
Well, I don't know. I think you still enjoyed that game when you did, but I would say it's not quite true to say, oh yeah, I play that all the time. You don't. You are avoiding that board game. Like the superhero one you just mentioned.
Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yeah, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I might play that app. I won't play that card game. I find it to be annoying. There's a lot of little rules for bookkeeping, a lot of adding little numbers and figuring out where things end up. I don't want to play that card game. I might play the app. They are ultimately different things.
Yeah.
If you found a mechanical thing that I might push and it would count for me and it would shuffle for me, then maybe. But, again, I think they are ultimately different experiences.
For me, with my top 100, I'm going to pick board games, and if it happens to be an app too, I'm going to include my experiences with that app as part of the thing. It's very possible. If one of my favorite games suddenly has this great app, I'm not going to say, well, it's not available for the list anymore. I would not pick games that started online, even if they are clearly a board game. Hearthstone is a good example of that. It's clearly a card game. It does some things that card games couldn't do.
Correct.
And there are other card games. What's that one we used to play? Spectromancer? Well, it was called something else.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That is essentially a card game. I love that game. I've played that game hundreds of times, but I don't put it on my top 100 because it was only available in digital.
Right.
So that's just a personal thing, but I could see someone arguing both ways.
Well, people commented on how it was funny that I brought that up because I include Neuroshima Hex, and most of the time that I play, first of all, I don't own the game anymore. I know. But I have it on my phone, and I've used it on my phone. Now, I will say the most recent time I've played the game was with you.
And I won, surely.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Who did win?
He won.
I won.
He beat you?
He beat me. With an army I was unfamiliar with.
No. No.
I was playing with the new one that just came out.
With the new Iron Gang, and I was playing with the
Moloch.
So broken.
Raid.
Clearly.
Yeah, I was playing with one of the core box armies, and he was playing with a new one. Yeah, so his is broken because he didn't win. But I mean, so I still will play that game on a table, but playing the app version is a lot faster.
It is.
And it's a lot easier because it flawlessly accounts for everything.
It does.
It's true, we won't get yelled at for missing a rule.
Right?
It's true.
We should play more online app games.
But I definitely could see how that one. I think it's not as problematic, honestly. And playing Neuroshima Hex on the iPad largely feels like playing on the table. But I do think there are lots of games that experience of playing on a tablet or what have you robs you of something.
So some people are mentioning, and I think this is legitimate. They're saying, does it matter about recorded plays? I'm specifically talking about putting it on the best board game lists, things like that. If you want to keep track of your plays of Neuroshima Hex and say you have 2,047, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't care if anyone keeps track of their plays at all. It's not a big thing if someone says, I played this game 200 times. I'm not like, how many of those were on the computer? Oh, half of them? Invalidated. No, we're not saying that at all. I'm not. At least I'm not.
Some of these people are also coming and talking about what about the websites, not just apps.
Well, yeah, I say apps, but I'm including Steam and Tabletop Simulator. I mean, it's all it's all different electronic devices doing the same thing.
But the difference is that with an app, it's mainly just you against the game.
Not necessarily anymore.
Not necessarily, but mainly. Like when I play Ticket to Ride, I'm not playing Ticket to Ride against 4 other real people. I'm playing against 4 other bots or 3 other bots.
Yeah, but when I played on the computer, I did the same thing.
Okay.
I would just play the bots.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's different than what these people are talking about, I think. They're talking about meeting people online at a website and playing with real people on a digital format across the world. Like this guy in Tanzania is going to play this guy over here in Brooklyn and this guy over here in Toronto.
Yeah.
And they're all coming around this digital game and playing that board game on a digital format because they can't play it physically together. So does that count?
I feel the exact same way I do about the app, because I was already thinking about playing with someone else. I think it's the same thing. You are playing with a virtual representation of something that is not even something you manipulate in real space, right? I mean, maybe at some point in the future you'll be able to slap on them crazy goggles and manipulate stuff, right?
Yeah.
That might bridge that gap a
Crazy
little.
goggles.
That sounds like
It's a
such a
technical
dystopian
term.
future, like where we're all in our own house playing games with people, then you take your glasses off and it's just like
And everything
the house
outside is
falling
burning.
apart. It's garbage. You're
Rats
gonna put it on.
running around.
I'm playing Heroescape.
That's creepy. That's a creepy.
that's
That's a
cool,
dark
though.
future. No,
That's cool. No, that's
clean your
cool.
house.
Oh, that's cool.
I cleaned it virtually.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, no, I feel it's the same. It's the same thing. And I'm not even saying apps are worse always, right? Like I said, I think sometimes I'll play an app and not play the board game. Sometimes I'll play a board game and I'll play the app, but it feels different. You know, I don't get invested. And that's okay. And if you and the logging the plays thing, that's really more of a ultimately personal
I don't log my
choice.
plays ever anyway.
Does it
so.
feel like you played the game to you? Then go for it. You know, if you want to know how many.
You log your plays, right?
I do.
But you don't log, I bet, apps.
No, mainly because I forget, and I don't care that much. But I usually just log plays to remember I've played it, and my numbers are a little off. Yeah.
That's anyone else have anything to say? I mean, we can answer a few questions. We're not going to be on for a really long time because we got other things to put together, and we're going to be doing live Small World later on today.
Someone says that virtually cleaning will be our downfall.
But anyway, if you have questions about this or questions in general, we'll try to answer some. All right. What about board games that require an app to play? It's a totally different thing. To me, a board game needing an app to play is the same thing as a board game that needs dice to play.
Yeah.
It just one has a more expensive component.
Yeah,
needed,
Yeah,
that's all.
I agree with that.
Someone mentions what time this is Tom playing the VR version of Lost Cities while Sam and Z look at him disapprovingly. I notice it's funny, like with Tabletopia, they have ways to flip the table. Why would you put that in a virtual game?
Wait, Tabletopia, you can flip the table?
If I remember correctly, I remember seeing that in like the advertisements for it. But why?
I thought that was like a glitch where if you mishandled your piece, you could knock over other pieces. I didn't know that it was a thing where you actually could flip the table.
That would be so troll-tastic.
I mean, what would keep somebody from just playing a couple turns and then going, ha, see you losers?
Well, that already happens. I already really dislike how many online games. I really dislike how many online games you're like in the middle of a fun game and it's like so and so has left the room.
Yeah.
I really dislike that because in real life that's really frowned upon. We're not playing a game and I suddenly look up and Z and Sam are gone. It doesn't happen. But online that definitely happens, especially when you're whooping them. Right. Like,
right. It could happen.
I lost connection. You didn't lose connection, you liar. And in fact, this is giving me a really good idea for someone was just asking if we could do a pop culture list. We should do our top 10 favorite apps. That'd be interesting.
Just apps, any kind
apps
of
in
app.
general. Well, maybe we could do entertainment, or and then non-entertainment because they're very different. There's some apps I use.
What if it's like a productivity app that I use for entertainment to like make lists and stuff?
That would be okay.
That would be so top 10 game apps and top 10 non-game apps. Is that okay? Anyway,
Okay, fine.
do you ever find yourself getting sick of games faster when playing the app version?
No, because they don't take as long. I mean, I could literally sit down and play 4 games of Small
No. I
World.
mean, but like if you play Small World 30 times in the app in a month, and then you're like, never play it again. That's I think.
No, I don't feel that way at all. I'm really excited about getting Small World to the table later on today, actually.
Yeah, I don't think I do either, mainly because I don't sit down and play 5 games in a row. I still play just 1 or 2, but they are so short.
You're weird.
It's a time. It's just more like a little quick
Binge
5-minute
is
filler.
the new end, man. Got to binge your games, binge your Netflix, binge.
But it's the
everything.
same experience, back to back to back to back. I mean, largely.
Not if you try different things.
Well, it still ultimately is the same game. You know what I mean? It'd be like watching the same episode, kind of whatever.
Stranger Things.
Of Stranger Things, yes. Just the waffle episode over and over and over. Makes me hungry, that's the thing.
Eggos, not waffles.
Man,
Those are waffles. There's like literally no difference other than they're round.
Wait, are waffles square?
Not all of them.
Hey, I'm not from here. Wait, what is a
I saw
waffle?
On Facebook, I got an ad for this waffle maker that made D20 waffles.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that.
And I thought about it, and then I thought, who cares?
They also have Death Star waffles.
Death Star waffles, I think I've also seen, yeah.
All right, so let's get to questions. Again, you can ask questions that don't have anything in particular to apps. It can be.
Really? You sure? I say we stick with the app conversation.
It says in Dominion Online, resigning generally isn't frowned upon. Well, resigning is one thing, I guess.
Like, you win, I give up. A lot of games, I guess. Well, not a lot, but many games.
Yeah, but sometimes
you can do
that's really not fun. If someone, like, say, for example, that can go to the extreme, and I've seen it, where you get your opening hand, you play a couple turns, you're like, yeah, I can't win, and you're out. Well, what's the point then? I might be having a lot of fun.
Yeah, they do that in CCG tournaments. Do that. Abstract games certainly do that. But that's a weird thing to do in just regular board games. Could you imagine if that was a normal accepted trend?
What?
That idea of like playing a couple of rounds. I mean, that would be the best way to get out of a game I'm not enjoying ever. You know, I could play 2 rounds and be like, I would like to resign. You win. You know, that sucks for everybody else. And plus, if it's a multiple player game, like.
I've definitely done it. I
have
have done this myself against computer opponents before, where I've started a game up and it's like, oh man, that's a terrible opening play. Restart.
Yeah, but
okay,
again,
that's different. The computer's not going to get mad at me.
And that's another way that I think apps are different from board games. You can restart if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
It's not a real one-to-one representation of a board game.
That's true.
What app has the best AI?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Is there one like you that beats you consistently? The Race for the Galaxy one really whooped on me on the hard level.
The Neuroshima Hex one was pretty nasty.
I had a hard time beating that.
You can kick it up, and it's quite smart. I'm pretty sure it cheats.
Does it cheat?
No, it does not cheat. I think. I don't know.
I really dislike when a game, basically, their way of making the AI better is not making it harder, just giving it more advantages.
Right. I don't know. I can't tell.
No, I can't.
No, you can't. I get to say, oh, you start with 10 life, and they have 30 life.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying, like, does it draw unfairly? It always gets the right tile or the right card at the right time. That. I can't tell. Yeah, Neuroshima Hex has fantastic AI.
Not yet. I have a phone call today, hopefully.
What else?
Let's see.
I should probably mention while I'm here, I got another message from someone yesterday at some point with a screen capture of their username in Race for the Galaxy. It reminded me because I saw it there. And someone named Z Garcia in Race for the Galaxy, and they were like, "Ooh, so close, 1 point away." And I wrote back on Twitter like, "That's fantastic."
Not me.
That's not me.
Yeah.
There is someone who plays on Race for the Galaxy. There's someone who plays Jaipur, and it is not me. If you play with someone named Z Garcia,
I really wish this was me at this point, because this would be a great
that would
joke.
be great.
But it's not.
Have fun
You
with
have
this.
a stalker.
Have fun with this person, but it's not me. I'm sorry if you thought it was.
Do you play more board game apps on the tablet or phone? Well, you only have a phone, right? So you play on the phone.
Usually,
What about you?
Usually on the phone.
Yeah, I play mine on the tablet exclusively. I don't think I've ever played a board game app on the phone. It's too small for me.
Okay.
Even though I dropped my tablet and cracked a screen last night.
Wow.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
For you.
Fell out of my backpack. That, you know how that zipper in the back opens sometimes,
geez.
and it dumped everything. Yay! Let's see. There's a lot of comments, not as many questions.
No, I won't do a Rune Wars miniatures review. Roy Kennedy is already taking care of that, and he did a very good job doing it. The only things that I would add to a review are negative things that I've already said in other places. So I don't want to, kick a dead horse.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Someone asked about the Fantasy Flight. They're going to start doing video games. What do you feel about that?
don't know what that means. What do you mean?
No, like Fantasy Flight is making video games, not board games. They're starting a video game division.
Is it not based on their stuff?
Oh, well, they haven't really been too forthright on that so far. I mean, if they make a good Arkham Horror board game, video game, would you play it?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's at that point, it's really different.
Yeah.
If it's just a video
Yeah,
game.
that's almost like...
I want to walk up to Cthulhu and slap it in the face.
No, but I mean, to me, it's almost like... Remember they did that movie that one time? They were going to make a movie at some point.
FFG?
Yeah.
No, I never heard of that.
And that is my point. I'm not sure that if you're good at one thing, it necessarily means you'll be good at video games and board game design. It seems can be very different.
Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of it. And this, I guess I'll check it out if it comes out.
Z Garcia, please stand up. No, it's not me, for sure. I wouldn't use your name. I'd use mine.
That's just weird.
Calling yourself a Dice Tower name is smart. You have a huge friends list. We better get on these things and like claim our names at all these games.
Oh, whatever.
That's true. I'm not going to do it.
No, it's not worth it.
I don't care.
Would you care though if the person went on and was like cursing at people?
Oh, of course.
And have a
At that
bad
point, you are.
reputation?
That's
Well, yeah, but at that point, I think some people would probably. I mean, people who know us and watch our videos know we wouldn't do something like that. So
at that point, I would have a problem with it. I still don't think I could do anything about it.
I have a problem with it, period. I don't think you should use someone else's name. Now, if there
Well-
was another Z Garcia, but we know for a fact there's not.
that's tiptoeing. Well, you don't know for a fact that there's nobody else.
Every time I meet anyone new, I go up to them, I grab them by the shoulder, shake them, and I go, "Is your name Z Garcia?" They usually say no. Sometimes they just don't answer at all.
Sometimes they just call 911.
How do we feel about downloadable content for app-assisted games? I think it's amazing. That's the whole...
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is the whole thing I'm excited about apps with games because, again, I keep using the same example, but of Dead of Winter, and I really wish they would do this, if they were consistently adding more cards, that would make that game so fascinating because you would never know what card would come up in a game. Anytime there's a game where you've turned a card over and there's some sort of story on it,
Right.
if there's a new one, even like Near and Far, if that was an app thing with the stories,
Oh, wow.
and when you went to a spot, you never know what story you might get.
Oh, that's
That'd be really
cool.
interesting.
I like that idea a lot.
And so if I played that and every once in a while they said, hey, add another 200 adventures, I'd be like, yes, please.
You would buy that?
I like downloadable
You would
content.
do like a microtransaction for stuff like that?
I would, because in that case, I don't need to do it, right? It's not like the microtransactions where you can't progress in the game farther. Those are the
Right.
ones I don't like, where you're playing
Right.
some game and it's like, oh, this house will build in 4 weeks or today
Yeah.
if you pay us $50.
Right, yeah.
That I don't like.
Right.
But if it's downloadable content that adds to the game, I'm all for that
That's
because you don't
great.
have to get it.
That's great.
Somebody asked if I thought there was going to be a Twilight Imperium app. There already was one for TI3.
You mean like a helper app?
Yeah, it was a companion app that kept track of all. At the beginning of the game, everybody put in the races they were using, and the app automatically tabulated all of the different bonuses that you would be getting during combat for that. And then whenever somebody purchased a new tech, you would go in and put that tech in there, and it would keep track of all of your bonuses and subtractions and all that kind of stuff during combat, so you didn't have to remember everything all of the time. That was for TI3. A lot of the changes that were in TI4 actually do that for you, because instead of having to keep track of all of your techs, those techs that affect your ships are cards that you place onto your player board that change the stat of your ship on your player board. So whether they're going to come out with a new app to do that, I don't know. I don't think so, but they already did have one for TI3.
This person says, I get nervous all board games will go digital in the future. Do you think this could happen?
Well, I know that there's a lot of, well, I don't know if there's a lot, but there are a number of companies out there that are coming out with digital tables where you can plug and play a board game, and all of the components are in the game. They're just digitally represented, and it's a touch screen, and you can manipulate the opponents that way.
Wow.
But it's like
That's
it's a
crazy.
proper table like this size.
That's great, but right now those things are so expensive.
Oh, they are,
And
they
then
are.
you'd have to. The problem with those is also proprietary. Like, hey, my game works only on Samsung's tables, but not on the LG tables.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I want to deal with that sort of stuff. But I don't think physical games are going anywhere. We just came from Essen.
Right.
There is no shortage of board games.
It's certainly not an imminent threat any more than you should be worried about. Are they going to, pull my brain out and put it in a robotic body? Yes, maybe in 1,000 years. I think
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Brainier.
Brady.
I think most people enjoy a board game, a game with a board, cards, dice, rolling dice. The tactile feel of a board game cannot be underestimated.
Do you feel less challenged, says crazy old Maurice. That's the name.
Hey, buddy!
Do you feel less challenged playing a bot like you are cheating?
No.
It depends on the
I
bot.
consider basically all my opponents to be
Bots.
machines anyway, brainless,
We are not a machine.
numb machine.
I actually like playing bots because sometimes a bot will not stop me from doing some weird, fun strategy I just want to try out.
I don't
Like,
have to be
if I'm playing a human,
considerate.
they might be like,
That's the thing.
no. That's true. You can really whoop on a bot.
That's not even it. It's just like, you can skip their turn, just like, okay, I don't want to look at it. Just go, you can
Oh, I do that all the time. Click, 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 click.
You can be
whatever.
not considerate.
Sometimes, like for example, in Small World, sometimes the bots will, and I don't know what the algorithm or
Tell you
randomizer
to
is for it.
cut it out.
They will both, like if I'm playing against two other bots, they will both attack me.
Because they know what's what.
And so sometimes playing bots makes the game a little bit more difficult because normally when you have 3 people playing a game, sometimes both people will attack one player, especially if that player's in the lead. But they won't just arbitrarily every time attack the same player. They'll try to do their own thing and kind of spread out a little bit. But I played against bots where it was a lot harder than a regular game, so I didn't feel like I was cheating at all. It felt like they were cheating against me,
Those bots, man.
There is another Z Garcia.
Ha!
Hey.
So maybe you're playing that guy.
Is he?
Works at B-Boy and Breakdance.
Ooh.
This is your double life.
He looks
All
a
right.
little bit...
Oh, that's
Wow.
a woman. That's a whole choir.
Why are we doing this right now?
Because
There's a lot of there's a lot of Zeke Garcias.
there's
Look
a
at
lot
those
of
Z
Z
Garcias.
Garcias.
Okay, I take that back.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Z-E. There's an apostrophe between the two
Nice.
E's.
That's what I'm going to do. Z-E. Z-E. Maybe, what are the chances anyone of these people are into board games?
Hi.
Hi. I asked a question, though.
Hi. H-I-G-H.
Oh, I didn't catch that at all. I actually thought you were saying hi. You're not helping me. Okay.
I don't know. I think it's really low.
Let's see here.
There's a question mark.
Well, okay. Any games you think could benefit with an app companion like Mansions of Madness? A lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games. I already mentioned a lot of Ryan Lockett's games could use an app. The Near and Far, Above and Below.
That's one I hadn't even thought of, but that's brilliant. Above and Below, Near and Far mainly, with an app would be awesome. And the app could remember things for you that you would do with tokens in game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Another one that is an older one, but Starfarers of Catan. In Starfarers of Catan, you would have these encounters, and there was 20 cards. That was it.
Yeah.
And you meet a pirate ship, and what do you do? And so, again, that would be just a really useful app, and you're never
Right.
quite sure what that pirate ship is going to do, or
Right.
if it was a pirate ship or not.
Well, they have now coming out that companion app that's coming out for Robinson, which I assume is something like the First Martians app, sort of being retrofitted to work in Robinson, and I'm...
So you can call Robinson Crusoe Robinson, but I can't call Shadows in Kyoto Shadows?
I say it both ways, and I always feel like I'm going to say the wrong one. I say Robinson Crusoe, and sometimes I say Robinson Crusoe, and I never remember which is the accepted way.
Robinson Caruso.
Yes.
So that's why I said Robinson.
It's also potato.
I
Or
always
potato.
It's one of those things people be like, "You're a dummy." I got it,
I'm
but
going to say that anyway, so it doesn't matter. All
that's
right.
true.
If Fantasy Flight did make video games in a universe, what would you like? A first-person shooter on Rex? Wing Commander style space shooter? Dream video game from that universe?
What?
Sam wants Twilight Imperium X-wing style.
That would
He
be
wants to drive a war sun.
no.
I'm driving it like a pickup truck.
I know,
Pretty
right?
sure it's
Like-
probably a little bigger than that.
With the lean and everything, right?
Trying to think of different fantasy flight games.
I don't know.
Descent, first-person shooter. Except it would be with a
First-person
sword.
shooter.
No, it'd be with a sword. I don't know what you call it. First-person stabber.
Like a third person. Usually, if it's gonna not be just aiming, you want a third person. view.
stabber.
FPS. Here's what I want. I want a game set in a Terranoth universe,
Uh-huh.
but it's like Skyrim.
Okay, we have that game. It's called Skyrim.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but there's a lot of cool monsters that they have that.
You can probably get a plug-in for that, actually, a patch or whatever they call them. I have no idea. I want to play Blue Moon, the card game.
So boring.
That is very boring.
All right, where are we at? Let's see. I already answered that.
Fury of Dracula game would be cool.
Ooh, Fury of
That's-
Dracula.
What kind of game would that be?
Now you're on the castle. One person's Dracula, and you got to work together as a group to find Dracula. And it's gonna be hard if you spread out. But if you spread out, it's easier. But if you spread out, he can also get you.
So it's
come
kind
out
of
of
like
the cabinet.
that. Kind of like that. Jason walking around game that recently came out. Video game,
But
right?
the same game.
That'd be cool.
But in a castle.
If you could go invisible for a few seconds and traverse across a hall, and then you come back into existence, and no one knows you crossed the hall.
Right.
Oh man,
Be
that's
super
on
scary. Don't play
fire.
into people who aren't Dracula.
That's awesome.
Too bad Fantasy Flight doesn't have that property anymore.
Okay,
that's
how about the same exact thing, Terranoth?
All right. Would you like to see out-of-print games be converted into an app instead of a physical re-release copy?
No.
Wait, what?
Oh no, I think that's it's up there. Sorry, Endgame said it.
Would you like to see out-of-print games converted into an app instead of... No, not really.
No, I want a game.
Yeah. I
A
would rather have
physical game. I want to see what they did with the new artwork. I want to
Yeah.
see what they did with the new components.
Completely agree.
I like board games more than I like apps. You know?
I'm trying to think though. There might be. I would rather actually. I'm going to disagree. Tales of Arabian Nights. I'd like to see that one come back just as an app. There's no reason for that to come back as a board
There's
game.
no reason for that to come back. Period. That's
All
right.
right, Crazy
In your
Old
hat.
Maurice says that they are crazy, but not old. Not Maurice. They are a woman. Have we seen Beauty and the Beast?
I saw most of it on a plane, I think.
Oh yeah, I saw it because I have 6 daughters. But I also really like Beauty and the Beast music, so it was a good movie. It was essentially the same as the cartoon.
It was kind of needless. It's just
But-
weird. Some of these remakes they're doing
No,
with
I liked
Disney.
it a lot. You liked the Jungle Book a lot, you said.
The Jungle Book was not identical to the old one.
But I hope that person realizes the problems with naming yourself that way. And then...
It's awesome. You just have to explain it a little
Yeah,
bit.
you have to explain it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
With Eric reading the stories in Neon Fire. Yeah, that would work. That'd be a ton of reading for Eric, though. If
That
you
would
read
be
that much
slow.
word-
That would be too slow.
You think so?
A dramatic reading would slow the game down. Again, it's one of those things that would change the experience.
Oh,
What?
what about a Neuroshima Hex video game?
Well, again, that's Fallout, basically. But I'll take it. I mean, are you
No, but I
kidding?
mean,
I
it
would
would
be
be-
all over that.
it
I'd
could
play
be
a
like-
video game in my head every time
No,
I
it wouldn't
play
have
that
to be
board
Fallout.
game.
It could be like an arena combat type stuff, where you have your team, and it could almost be like a Blood Bowl type thing, but it's not. You're not playing American football.
The way I would like it, actually, if I was gonna play if I had my like, perfect Neuroshima Hex video game, I would want it to be a post-apocalyptic game, obviously, with with RPG elements of you traversing the landscape because these factions live in different places.
Yeah.
And then when you do encounter something you can fight, switch to a turn order. What do you call that? RPG fight, which is kind of old school, but I love it. That's
like
not.
Final Fantasy Tactics, that sort of
Yeah,
thing?
what do you call that? Not necessarily those, just turn-based. Because I don't like the click here and you move over here and then you can go away. You like that a lot. I don't necessarily like,
I like
that
that. I
style.
think you like it too, because
But
you like XCOM, right?
Turn-based, like
Yeah.
old JRPGs used to do a lot. Japanese RPGs used to do it a lot.
Like Fantasy Flight, Final Fantasy, sorry.
Yeah, kind of like that. That would be amazing for me. I would love that game.
All right.
Bring it.
We'll take a few more questions and then we'll end. Like I said, this one won't be as long today.
Does that say moo?
That's the Masters of Orion.
That's not okay.
You just did it. You just said JRPGs.
And then I said Japanese RPGs right after.
Right.
You still said RPG.
Oh, that one's pretty well known.
Well, if you know anything about video games, Moo means Masters of Orion. It's very well known as
I
that.
thought that was a board game, Masters of Orion.
It is now.
Oh, it is now. See, I don't know, fellas.
It was a video.
I don't know video games that well. You know video games better than I do now,
I don't.
Mr.
I would
Breath
be-
of the Wild.
I'd be very cautious. No, actually, I've been playing Mario these days.
What's
Breath of the
Mario?
Wild is better. Oh, the new one, whatever it's called, Odyssey.
I don't know what Mario is.
It's the one where he has a hat and he throws it at people.
Oh, the plumber. Yeah.
Shut up,
Kidding.
dude.
Dummy.
That would be
Twilight Imperium, like the old Masters of Orion video
That
game.
would be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I would play that.
That would be cool.
Or like,
Very good pig hunter. Or Rebecca, whichever you are.
Usually Hunter, because
Yeah.
Rebecca
Rebecca has
what I
better things to
understand,
do.
She has work and a job.
She has better things to
Wow.
do.
Hunter is.
Throwing Hunter under the bus like that. I didn't do that. I assumed it could be either of you.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of comments today over. What do you guys think about the Vassal engine? Man, I hate it. The Vassal
Because
engine.
they stole your name?
No, that's not why. Although it is funny. Every once in a while, I get an email from someone going, "I heard you have this computer program that you run." I'm like, no, it's spelled differently. The reason I don't like Vassal is because it's simply a tool that lets you play the game. It doesn't have the rules of the game in place. It's not intuitive to learn and play. It's more work for me. Someone wanted to play Twilight Struggle with me on Vassal one time, and after a while, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I could not figure out how to do it.
Isn't that how Tabletopia is, though?
But from what I understand, Tabletopia is very intuitive on how you move everything. At least
There's no rules.
I do wish there were rules.
It doesn't enforce anything. You can pick up a piece and throw it off the table if you want.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But Vassal has that. Plus, then it was not intuitive on how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Overwatch. I've never played Overwatch. It's like that one game that everyone talks about and everyone plays, and I don't know anything about it.
There's like a bunch of those for me. Good lord. Overwatch. I never played Minecraft. I never played Space. What is that one called? Spacecraft or whatever, right? What is that? That they made a board game out of? Warcraft and Starcraft. That's the one I'm thinking of. There's a bunch of those like games everybody has played, video games that I haven't played.
All right, so hopefully soon.
Yes.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon.
We will.
You will finish
We
that
will
sentence.
know what our PAX schedule is like. I'm still
Yeah.
waiting to hear back from Geek and Son, but we'll be at their booth. But we'll post their schedule as soon as we can. I know there's not many days left. Well, we will see, hopefully, you guys there. If you're going to PAX, we will be there. We're doing a show. Please show up for that because it's a really big room, and we need a lot of people to come to it.
Yes, please.
And other than that, we'll be at the booth at different times. Come by with little pins, the little Dice Guy pins, and at night we'll be in the gaming area playing games.
Yep.
So
Sweet
Sounds
sauce. Playing only
Bars,
apps,
cool.
though.
Don't bother us, please.
you know, you laugh about that, but I remember one meetup we ran here in Miami. This was like 6 years ago or so, and a bunch of people came in and they played. They passed around a phone and played Settlers of Catan. I don't think you were at that meetup.
I don't recall that, but yeah.
And I thought, that's okay, I guess, but I didn't know why they were like a family who came in, and I wondered why they had come to the meetup at all. They could have just stayed at home and done that, right?
That's interesting. It must have been an atmosphere thing. They wanted the
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Well, no, they left right away and then posted a negative comment about the group, like people were unfriendly and so on.
Did they ask? I mean, do they...
Wait, they passed an app around on a phone, showed
they-
up, played it by themselves with a phone app.
And criticized.
Left,
I
and then-
know this because someone said they posted a comment on the meetup thing that said, "Just left the group, blah blah blah." They were the only people to have left.
Okay.
It was just an odd situation. I never saw them again.
Well, because, no, clearly. But weird. Okay. What can you do?
Alrighty, folks. Well, we do appreciate you watching. There's lots of videos going up today. I think we got something going up, right? Yeah, I mean, I know we got videos going up. Oh, wow. Sorry, I can actually tell you guys what's coming up.
I got a review going up.
Yeah, so do I.
Today is what, the 9th? Shadows in Kyoto, Missoula Red Duel, Meeple Circus, Clans of Caledonia, Codenames Disney, Hot Shots, and
Apocrypha.
Well, Apocrypha might be a little late, depending.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyhow, I hope you guys, and Small World,
Small
live
World, 2
play
o'clock.
At 2.
2 o'clock. So we'll see you guys back then. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, thanks for tuning in.
Sam Healy. Talk to you later, folks.
All right.